Entitlement is a disease. The topic of today, I believe, is one of the biggest diseases a human being can actually carry because it's so covered up. Perfection, fear, control, self-confidence, these hides beneath it. It is dressed up as a confidence, I would say. It dresses up as knowing your worth. It even dresses up as ambition sometimes. I'm talking about entitlement. And before I go further, I will just tell you this. I've never really owned this one myself. But growing up, becoming an adult, I've had plenty of things and people to work through with. But entitlement wasn't the obvious one for me. It took me years and a lot of client work to actually see where it was hiding in my own life. Because it's really loud. It's really, I deserve a mansion. It's much smaller than that. It's sneakier. So let's define it properly first. Entitlement is the belief that you are owed something before you've done the work to earn it. It's I'm entitled to my parents' love, for example. I'm entitled to inherit their wealth. I'm entitled to be respected. I'm entitled to people treating me in a certain way. I hear this from clients all over the globe, constantly. And every single time I have to tell them the same thing. You are never entitled to anything, actually. Respect, love, wealth, inheritance, admiration, these are things that are given to you, not owed. Given, and they're given when you've done something to be worthy of them, when you've done the work, taken the responsibility, shown up with accountability, responsibility, then maybe you get to keep the inheritance. Maybe you get to be that person your parents are proud of, but the groundwork comes first, like everything else, always does. There is no such thing as entitlement without the work behind it. The moment you believe there is, you actually lose your own power because now your sense of worth is sitting outside of yourself on something you didn't build, that you don't own. And something you didn't build can be taken away at any time. It's not even worth the paper it's written on. Here's the part that really matters though. Entitlement doesn't just hurt the person who has it. It crushes the people around them. Because when you walk through life believing you're owed something, you consciously treat other people as less than you. Less valuable, less deserving of the effort you normally put into a relationship. And you completely skip the responsibility of building your own life. You outsource your worth to other people's obligations towards you. And I've noticed something interesting. Entitlement tends to grow the wealthier and more comfortable as the society becomes. The less struggle, the more entitlement, and it walks hand in hand with something else. Power. Real power and take power look very different from each other, and it's worth knowing the differences. Very much so. Real power is quiet. It's presence. It's knowing your identity, your beliefs, who you actually are underneath the noise. That kind of power doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need to be proven. But the other kind of power, bought power, status power, the power you think puts you above the people around you, that puts you on the map, that is soaked in entitlement. And underneath it, almost always, is fear. Fear of being ordinary, fear of not being enough without the title, the money, the position. That kind of power has no real identity holding it up. It's borrowed, it's fragile. Now, here's where I want to bring myself into the equation. Because for me, entitlement didn't show up as I deserve to be rich or I deserve to be admired. It showed up in a much more disguised way. It showed up as impatience. For a long time, I didn't connect the two. I thought impatience was just a personality trait, a drive. I move fast. I want results. I don't like waiting. I actually used to wear it like a badge. But somewhere along the way, doing this work with clients and doing it on myself, I realized impatience is entitlement's quiet twin. Underneath my impatience was a belief that I was owned the outcome when done the work. That because I had put in the effort, some effort, not necessarily the right amount or the right kind, the result should already be there. I was demanding certainty from life before I had earned it. And I remember very clearly the period where this got exposed to me. I'd put in real work on myself, on a project, on a relation, doesn't matter which. And I expected to pay off on my timeline. When it didn't, I didn't feel curious. I didn't feel like, okay, more work need to be done. I felt old. I felt like I had made a mistake, like I had done my part and the universe hadn't done its part back. That's entitlement. Just wearing a different outfit. And what I had to learn, really learn in my body, not just intellectually, is that uncertainty is not the enemy of growth. Uncertainty is growth. The not knowing, the waiting, the discomfort of not having the answers yet, that's not a punishment. That's the actual terrain where a person becomes someone new. If I could guarantee the outcome the moment I started, there would be no transformation happening. I would just be collecting what I already knew I'd get. That's growth. That's a vending machine. So rewiring my impatience meant actually sitting in the not knowing without collapsing it into a demand. It meant catching myself in the exact moment I wanted to rush a process, a person, a conversation, a healing, and asking, what am I actually trying to skip right now? Because almost every time what I was trying to skip was discomfort. Not the actual step, the feeling of not being in control of the timeline. And once I saw that clearly, I could unsee it. Impatience wasn't drive. It wasn't avoidance wearing drive as clothes. This is the same thing I see in clients who say, I'm entitled to my parents' love, or I'm entitled to respect. Underneath, it is usually the same discomfort. The discomfort of not knowing if they'll get it, or having to actually build toward it instead of just being handed it. Entitlement is often just impatience with human condition, impatience with the fact that worth has to be built slowly through unglamorous, repeated, sometimes invisible effort. So here's what I leave you with. If you catch yourself feeling like you're owed something, a relationship, outcome, someone's opinion of you, a result, a title, an inheritance, respect, pause. Not to shame yourself, just to ask, have I actually done the groundwork for this? And if the answer is not yet, that's not a failure. That's information. That's your next step showing itself to you. Building real self-worth, real resilience, real identity. That's slow. It's built one accountable decision at a time. It's the only foundation that's actually yours. Anything else, anything borrowed from entitlement, is a house built on somebody else's ground. And ground like that will always eventually shift under you or falter. I had to learn this, like everything else, the hard way. Through my own impatience, I'm still learning it, honestly. But I'd rather stand on something small that's mine, that's something big that was never really given to me to keep. If this hits something in you, I'd love to know where. Drop it in the comment. I read every single one. So see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed this one.